Welcome to Day One Patch. I'm Ryan Johnson. This is episode 51. We just had our 50th episode last week, and in that episode, we ran a contest. I'm getting this out right now. We ran a contest. We're giving away some special prizes from a great company called Ocean Studios. They have a great new app, and we're give away two of them. So you just need to comment on the 50th episode. So go back, check our YouTube channel, comment on that 50th episode, and we'll choose two random winners out of the comments. We're gonna check back every Friday, and once we get comments, those people will get it.
We were supposed to announce the winners this week, but unfortunately nobody commented. There's views,
That's
but
right.
there's no one has commented. So remember.
Yeah. So we're just waiting. Go check out episode 50, comment, and hopefully you'll win one of these awesome prizes. All right. With me today for our 51st episode is Matt Lawrence.
Hello.
And Martin Isaacs.
Hello.
All right, before we start, I also want to thank William Key and the Stardust Drive podcast. They were kind enough to actually promote our 50th episode. Since it's kind of a momentous occasion to actually reach a 50th episode of anything, that's 2 weeks short of a year, so it's pretty crazy how long we've been doing this. And we were doing this prior to that. So they were kind enough to help promote our show and promote our 50th, so we're thanking them for all their support. And then, again, William Key, and go check out their awesome YouTube channel, Stardust Drive Podcast. A lot of great stuff over there. All right, we're going to start with what we're playing. There's only two of us here. Adriano's gone.
He died.
Oh.
He did not die.
So which one of you guys want to go first?
I'll go first since mine's simple.
All right.
I've been playing Metal Gear Solid.
4-hour Let's Plays.
Yeah, we're doing Let's Plays of them, actually, so you can check them out on our channel.
So you actually, when you started, we were kind of bad. Well, you were kind of bad. And then we built our way up, and we're not too bad now.
we went from bad to not too bad now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of help from others, too.
Yeah. I realize now how much I need to phone my buddies and ask for their help.
Just like Rick from Pawn Stars.
Yeah, I'm like Rick from Pawn Stars.
Gotta call your buddies up.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping to continue the series after this game.
Yep.
Maybe in time for
Phantom
Pain. I
not in time for
Ground Zeroes. No,
no.
I don't care about that. I have a little bit of gripe with that, but yeah,
we have some stories come up about that too. So save your gripe for then.
Yeah.
Matt, what have you been playing?
This week I kind of went back. I've been playing some Anno 2070 actually. This week.
What is that?
So it's a it's a city building game. The Anno series is kind of a long-standing, popular but kind of offset from the mainstream, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of series, and Ubisoft picked it up. I don't know if they made the old ones. I don't think they did, but yeah, I've been playing that. It's like it kind of aims to be a more realistic kind of sort of game. So if you say for example you want to build like a gun, at least in the old ones you would have to mine the ore and smelt it. Someone would shape it. Someone would cut down the wood, and then someone would put them together, and then you'd have to train a guy to use the gun.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And that's one soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of more like that, but this one's more futuristic. So I've been playing that. I've been playing that online for the first time.
Is that
actually.
on Steam? Is that what that is? Or what is that?
Steam/Uplay because it's Ubisoft. So when you boot it up on Steam, it boots up Ubisoft or Uplay, and then it does that. But I'm fine with that. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Just continuous gameplay. It takes forever to do anything. So.
Well, I've been playing the two free games on the two platforms right now. So I've been playing Dead Nation on PS4, which was on the PS3 as well, but it's now coming to the PS4. I hear people are having some issues with it. It's not kind of booting up for them. I've not noticed that myself, but hopefully they send a fix out. I guess they had problems on the PS3 when it launched there too.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's pretty. There's a lot of stats and whatnot.
It's an indie game, right?
I think so.
I think so. It's really fun though. I'm enjoying it. It's a little difficult, but that's fun.
It's really fun. I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So download it, man. We can play some co-op.
For sure.
And then on the flip side of that, I've been playing Civilization Revolution on the Xbox 360, which is the free game for gold of the month. Well, half month, I guess is what they're doing.
And you were betrayed by Aaron, right?
Betrayed by Aaron.
Yeah.
We're allies up until like the end, and he just mowed me down. The problem was I had a 1,000-year war with China.
1,000 years.
Every turn is like 50 years, something like that.
Holy crap!
So I had a 1,000-year war with China. Meanwhile, Aaron was trying to help me fight China, but he was a democracy, so it's not easy to have wars during a democracy. Your people vote you down a bunch.
Oh, okay.
So I still had primitive technology because I didn't have any time to build up my resources, and so I just got mowed down by Aaron once he betrayed me.
There you go.
He nuked my last city. So that's what I've been playing. So let's move on to apps with Marty.
Apps with Marty.
Yep.
Here we go. A bit of a cool one this week. I think I say that every week. This one is called Calculords, and it was developed by a writer from Cracked.com, if you're familiar with that. Sean Baby, in particular. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a real old school art style, like 90s video game type stuff. I guess you could call it a strategy card game. Basic premise is there are three rows where you can place your cards, and little creatures will show up, and you're facing a computer. And the reason it's called Calculords is because you have a bit of math that you have to do if you want to place the cards. The cards will have a number on it. Say, for example, this one is 25 that I'm looking at now. And on the right side of the screen, you'll have a bunch of numbers, and you'll have the addition, subtraction, and multiplication symbol. And you have to use those cards to equal the number that's on the card you want to use. It sounds confusing the way I'm trying to say it. But basically, if you want to use the cards, you have to do a little bit of math with the numbers that are provided with you. So it's there's a lot of strategy on how you use the cards, because you can only use the numbers once. So you have to kind of pick and choose what type of math you're going to do, and in turn it determines what kind of card you're going to use. My explanation is not doing it justice, so I suggest you just go check it out for yourself. It is free on the App Store, and I've been addicted for it for the last couple of days.
Wow.
Calculords, iOS. Check her out.
So now, are the numbers you get, are they random?
They're random. But
but what happens if you can't do any calculation with them?
I don't think they're 100% random. Like, you'll be able to make at least one of the cards.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it is you can collect cards based on the enemies you beat.
Mm-hmm.
You'll win like cards from their decks, and you have to keep playing them if you want to unlock decks, and so you can beat the next person.
And you get like a bonus for using all the numbers on one screen.
If you use
right?
all the numbers, you
That's
get a bonus, and if you use all your cards, you get an extra bonus. So there's a lot of skill, and my math skills are improving while playing this game. Not really, though.
My brain did not function when you gave it to me.
No, you really got to sit down and focus. I tried to play it in the car, and I couldn't do it. There's too much distraction.
They should put a time limit on it.
Oh, Jesus.
That'd be probably make it unbearable, but
time limits make me sweat.
maybe like an extra challenge, like a mode or something like that.
Yeah. I would love some multiplayer. That would be pretty rad.
Because you had to be the faster mathematician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But highly recommend this game. It's also pretty damn funny. There's a lot of 80s action sci-fi movie type influence, and the music's super cool. It doesn't vary too much, though. When I play the music on apps, do you pick them up?
I don't know.
Do I sound like an idiot in all these reviews?
I'm not seeing any... Oh, there a little bit, I guess. Maybe.
We'll find out when this airs.
Yeah. When this airs, we can just play it back when we're done.
Wait till it airs. Apps with Marty, there we went. Calculords free on iOS.
All right, thanks, Marty. For our first story of the week... Now, I know you guys haven't really played Mass Effect, but this kind of leads into a bigger conversation. The Xbox One and PS4 might be getting a version of Mass Effect, the entire trilogy. Now, there was a trilogy released on the previous generation, Xbox 360 and PS3. That was back in 2012. But since you guys don't play Mass Effect, or haven't played Mass Effect, what do you think about older games coming to next gen, but with just being like better graphics?
This is a little bit different since it's a whole trilogy that's coming over. And I'm fine with that since there's not a whole lot on the next gen consoles available right now.
To be honest, I think it needs to be older. Like, I mean, we like the Splinter Cell collections and stuff coming to PS3, but they're significantly older than like a year or two, right? I don't. When was Mass Effect 3 released? Because you said that the trilogy was released in 2012. Was it the same year it was released, or?
I have there's. I don't think so, but 2011 seems too long ago. Maybe it was 2011.
Even if it's only even if it was like 2000. And honestly, in my opinion, even if it was like 2009 and 3 was released, I think it's still too early.
But it seems like since we have like a lack of like backwards compatibility, it's almost like these companies are now releasing older games but in new HD, and then you can play it on your new consoles. It's like a replacement, but they actually get money for it instead of you just using your old game.
Yeah, I'd rather just new games come out.
I don't have a problem with it though. I mean, it kind of comes down to convenient. It's more convenient to not have to keep my PS3 hooked up when I can just go buy the game I want to play and then play it again.
Fair enough. I'm always concerned about how well these sell though, and how much is invested in them, sort of thing. Because like I mean, if say like I'm not a Mass Effect fan, but say if something else such as like a dual pack of like Left 4 Dead had come out and it was just HD, I probably wouldn't even buy it. And I'm a really big fan of that, for example. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I'm always kind of concerned about how if these are considered almost a waste of money, if you will.
Waste of money for you or for the developer?
For the developer, because like I almost feel like a lot of people go back, like it's kind of I was mentioning before, is a lot of people go back to HD collections due to the nostalgic feat. Like if it's 5 or plus years, I'd say. Whereas this is kind of like, oh, I remember playing that. Like sometimes some people are like, oh, I remember playing that like last year. You know, so it's kind of like, oh.
I wonder if they get a lot of new people though. I wonder if like a lot like people who haven't played Tomb Raider last gen, like during last gen, if like they bought it for their new console, because there wasn't a huge amount of games at the launch lineup, right?
That's true.
So there's Tomb Raider, nice and fancy, all shiny, great game from last year.
People just kind of buy it to like, oh, we haven't played this in the old gen, maybe I'll buy it, pick it up. That's true.
It'd be kind of nice to hear the sales numbers. You're right though, just to actually see how well these games do. But they keep doing them, so they must be making money.
Maybe it's like, yeah.
I doubt it costs that much to up the res. You already have a PC version that's basically has the resolution of it, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we don't know how rigorous the testing is and stuff with them either. So
yeah, and I think they usually include like the DLC and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Now this isn't confirmed or anything, just that BioWare is kind of tossing around the idea, I guess. They've actually said we've discussed this internally, so I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to buy it again. I've already bought it for like 360 and PS4 3, so I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll buy it again, but. If you haven't, definitely jump on that. Our next story is one I kind of feel the same way about this next one. Hideo Kojima, as you may know, the creator of the Metal Gear Solid franchise, he said that young people are losing interest in like the big AAA games, and you can kind of see that, right? Because with all these studios are shutting down, there's only a few big AAA games really. And people are moving towards indie apps, mobile games, stuff like that. So what do you guys think? I know we've talked about this in the past too, but
I think the scale of the type of games that are being made is increasing, and games are becoming. They're focusing on niche markets now. Like the AAA games try to appeal to everybody. And I feel like that's not what we want anymore. We want specific types of gameplay and story.
No, that's a good point there. So let me just read you a quote from Kojima himself. He said, "We've seen a phenomenon around the world. Young people are losing interest in high-end games and focusing on mobile and social titles, especially in Japan." And you can kind of see that in Japan. The sales numbers of big AAA games and even like consoles and stuff are down. They're not going for the big stuff anymore, especially in Japan, who's really kind of known for how much they game. North America's kind of taken over that role, I guess.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like we're damaging ourselves. Like the big publishers, they say that indie games and mobile games, it's all good for the industry. I don't think it is. I think it's damaging them, and we're gonna lose some of the great titles that we've always been playing.
Well, I don't know if we were too young to kind of grasp it or anything, but I remember back in the PS2 days when we were younger, maybe like grade 4 or 5 around then, I would only remember a few AAA titles a year myself, and then there'd be lots of other games, but there would be kind of just random studios almost, or like some of the big studios now weren't as big then, but even still, right?
But the gaming industry definitely has evolved and grown substantially.
Sure.
It's like a multi-billion-dollar industry now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's kind of reached a peak. I think we're kind of leveling out, and it's still going to start to go down.
It could be kind of one of those things where like everything. Kind of like the analogy of like once like new hardware comes out, like with PCs and stuff like that. Right now, desktops are not selling as much, and not kind of like tablets are selling more. You know what I mean? It's kind of peaking out. Whereas now, instead of we just have console games. Now we have PC games, console, mobile, and everything. So it's just kind of level itself out.
Do you think there's enough room for like indie, AAA, and mobile games to survive all in the same kind of field? Or do you think they have to balance out? Like right now, AAA games are on the top, and then you got like mobile games pretty close, and indie games are on the rise.
Right.
But do you think they're all balanced out, like level wise?
I think they'll all balance out, and then depending on what studios make what in a year, I think we'll just kind of give one or the other the edge. Like in 1 year or the other. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be enough. Maybe mobile games will go down because I honestly feel that every mobile game I play is like a clone of each other. I'm always bored of it. I always like, oh, I got to level up and then wait a while and then money comes in, and you know what I mean?
I don't feel like a lot of people invest a lot of time in mobile games, but what they do is they invest time in multiple mobile games.
Yeah.
Like they'll play Angry Birds and then they'll play that for a week, and then they'll switch over to like Words with Friends, and then they'll play that for a week. And they kind of play a bunch of mobile games, so it makes it seem like they're really popular, but it's just kind of people jumping around because. When I download an app, I don't play it for like as long as I play like a console game.
No, sometimes I download an app, don't use it for like a month, and be like, "What the hell is this?" and I delete it.
Yeah, I just download apps to try them too, just to see what it's like, and it's like, oh nope, okay, delete.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Kojima also said that, as you may know, his new Metal Gear Solid 5 is in 2 parts. You get a little prologue, which is Ground Zeroes. The main game coming out later is Phantom Pain. Phantom Pains? Is it Pains? Is it just Pain?
I think it's just Pain.
The Phantom Pain.
The Phantom Pain is right. So he said part of his vision for the 2-part Metal Gear was to show people that high-end games are still worth playing. So he's trying to fight for the bigger games.
Right.
And I've said this in previous podcasts too. I'm all for the indie games. Support them as much as you want. I hope they all do well. They're all just trying to make money as well. So help support those guys, and they make a lot of great games. Gone Home was a fantastic game. But I love the AAA games.
Well,
I think people are kind of painting them as like the enemy because they're just greedy corporations who just want money. That's the whole thing with EA, right?
That's true. That's very true. They kind of have a bad rap.
But I still love the experiences I get on with the AAA game and indie games.
Yeah, like an indie game, you can like. There's some exceptions, but there's a lot of things where you're like, you'll hear it a lot. Where like, why? That's kind of a weird way to do that, and you're like, yeah, it's an indie game. Mm-hmm. So like he doesn't have time to fix it, or stuff like that.
I think the only time I will like kind of switch my view on this is when an indie game can create a game like Skyrim or something. So that's what I love about the big AAA publishers and stuff is they can create these massive games that are just fantastic, full of lore and history and stuff.
What about something I was going to mention this before? Something like Minecraft. Can that be considered? It's indie technically. But it's indie,
but it's become more mainstream now.
It's AAA material.
They have their own box. They have a box game now.
They have box games. They have everything. They have memorabilia everywhere. Like it's ridiculous.
So, yeah, I would love to see like multiple indie games do that. That's fine. I like that.
Yeah,
that's good. So I don't want to make it sound like I hate indie games. I fully support them, but I think people are going a bit too crazy over them right now.
Well, they are the new thing, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right, now here's a AAA game I'm super excited for. Just announced last week. Marty, can you take a guess at what it is?
Is it Batman?
It's Batman. Now, Matt, have you played the previous Batman games?
Arkham Asylum.
Just Arkham Asylum? You didn't play City?
I've had it for years.
Oh, you haven't touched it, though?
I just haven't put it on the console.
Are you a fan of Batman? Everyone's a fan of Batman. What am I talking about?
Whoa. I used to be a huge fan of Batman, but I like Spider-Man a lot better.
Now, are you a Marvel or DC guy?
Marvel.
Okay, good. Batman's the only thing DC has going. I'm sorry.
I've been reading some DC lately, though.
The New 52 stuff is good.
Yeah,
I'll give them credit for that.
It's okay.
And I'm glad they did that, because my big problem with the comics is, like, I don't know where to jump in. So the New 52, they're like, here's a clean slate.
They're still...
Come on in.
It's still convoluted. It's still going to, like...
Well, they didn't want to tell origin stories again, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of had, like, here's Batman, you know him. Here's all his villains. They're all there, but we're not going to tell you how they got there.
Yeah.
So...
We don't need to know.
Not really. Everyone really knows what happened, you know?
They ruined Dr. Freeze, though. Mr. Freeze.
Dr.
sorry.
Freeze. Who's he?
Well, he's a doctor.
So what? He wouldn't be Mr. Freeze then. His title would now be Dr. Freeze if he's a doctor. He has a PhD?
I'm assuming so.
He's Dr. Freeze then. He should be Dr. Freeze.
There's too many doctors in the comic book.
Too many smart people, actually.
Yeah.
You got Bruce Wayne, who's super smart. Over in Marvel, you got Tony Stark. You got Bruce Banner.
Mr. Fantastic.
It's too many. Yeah, you're right. All right, anyway, Arkham Knight is the new game from Rocksteady, not from WB Montreal, who did Origins. So we're expecting a good game.
Jesus, that was a bit blunt there.
It's the truth, though.
Now they released what I think is an awesome trailer. Marty, what did you think?
The trailer was cool. Yeah. A lot of stuff is revealed in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they announced that Scarecrow is the main villain. You hear him a bit talking.
Did they confirm that? But he's talking at the beginning there.
Yeah.
I'm not too clear whether they confirmed that or not. But
yeah. You also see Penguin and Two-Face and Harley Quinn
mm-hmm.
in the trailer, and they're working together, which is odd. Batman's also... Everything looks different in this game.
It's weird, yeah.
Everyone's noticing it, too. People are suggesting it's just the updating of the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just on the new console, everybody looks fantastic. And Batman suit's like mechanical now.
Yeah.
It's got like moving parts on it now.
Well, yeah, because they've done like CG cutscenes like this before for trailers, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't look anything like what we saw. Harley Quinn looked completely different.
Yeah.
It didn't even look like the same face, like they were using a new model or something.
Batman looked 10 years younger.
Yeah. And all the cars were old-timey, and one of the license plates said 1976.
Yeah.
So...
Also, I guess the biggest draw from the trailer was that the Batmobile will be a vehicle that you can actually drive around in
Mhm.
the city now.
And they said it's a big part of the game, too, is driving the Batmobile.
They said the map size will be about 5 times of what city was. So it's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, like, when you're driving around, they said they don't want Batman to be, like, running down families
Yeah.
with the Batmobile. So they had the whole city be evacuated.
So no civilians again.
So you don't go crushing people. There's Batman killing every person on the
It
street.
kind of makes sense, though, right? Imagine if you're playing this game and you're Batman and you're walking on the streets just past people.
Yeah, they'd be like, hey, it's Batman.
Yeah,
right?
it'd be weird. It's not like Spider-Man. In Spider-Man, you just walk around past people.
Yeah.
It's what Spider-Man would do.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's funny. So I'm pretty excited for this game.
Super excited.
It's October 14th. Now that's not an official release date, I don't think, but it was listed on like GameStop or something like that.
It was listed on Steam as well today.
Oh, jeez, holy man!
Yeah.
If you pre-order now, you can play as Harley Quinn. So I went and pre-ordered.
Meh.
That was my sole purpose for pre-ordering.
Really?
Mm-hmm. All right, our next story here. We covered OnLive a lot. Matt, do you remember OnLive?
I do.
You were our main researcher on OnLive.
Right. I remember that.
They're back.
They're alive.
They're
on live. Heyo. There you go.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you can leave, Matt.
No, all right.
So apparently, I guess they came back. I don't know how they came back. But they're already saying that PlayStation Now is not a threat to them. So this comes from, let me see here, OnLive Executive Chairman Mark Jung. Mark Jung,
I think.
I'm really sorry about the names. If I'm screwing them up, if I'm massacring them, I'm sorry. I don't mean any disrespect.
I think it's Mark Young.
Mark Young? So this comes from him. He said, no, I think Sony's acquisition of Gaikai and the launch of their service is only a validation of how important the cloud gaming marketplace is. This is such a big opportunity that we'd be hard-pressed to say that any one company could possibly capitalize on all of it. So,
I agree with that statement, considering if PlayStation Now takes off and all these companies, such as even Microsoft with their, we don't have to upgrade our hardware for however long because we have all this cloud computing. If OnLive can stay alive long enough and the market does actually increase,
mm-hmm.
I think they can really kill it.
Well, competition is always good for the consumer as well, because PlayStation Now comes out, subscription service, you have OnLive over here, they need to compete with OnLive, so the prices will be lowered for the consumer.
Right.
Which is always good for us. And then you want better game titles on your thing, and then you're all fighting. So I think it's good. whether OnLive can continue to survive since they failed last time.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, did you guys ever see the initial, like, before online was actually like online? Did you ever see that, like the preliminaries when they were
I
still
may have,
developing
yeah.
stuff? Where, if I remember correctly, this was years ago, but I remember correctly, they had like a little triangular box. It was tiny, and they were like, it has USB ports on it, and you literally put it down. You can plug the internet into it, or I guess Wi-Fi or whatever, and you literally can just play a game with it with a USB controller. So I could literally come to your house with my quote-unquote console, which was on live little box, walk in, plug HDMI into it, get my internet, however, and then use a USB controller, and I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah. And didn't they have like the weren't they doing like the tablet stuff too?
I think they were starting.
Right before they went down, like they had their own controller that you could work with the iPad and play games through OnLive.
But then when it went down, that stuff started to come out. You know what I mean? They were like into it, and then
By the way, Knights of the Old Republic was just updated for the iPhone and on iPad. You can now use the controllers that they make for the iOS.
Oh, okay.
And you can play KOTOR.
Oh, I would love that.
I want one of the controllers. The problem is they're so expensive.
They're like $100.
$100 for.
This is Bluetooth.
But so is my my Sony DualShock 4. That's Bluetooth and $60.
To be fair though, it's they probably subsidize the price somehow, right?
Maybe really big mass production or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I want to try it out. Looks amazing. Because the game is fantastic on the iPad. So I think they're trying to lower the prices. I think one came out at like $70, something like that. What were we talking about?
On live.
Oh.
I honestly think though, if they can pull it up, I wouldn't mind subscribing to a service like that.
Well, PlayStation Now or OnLive? I guess OnLive you would have other titles, not just.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because my problem is this. My problem is that my internet is shite.
Although, OnLive probably doesn't have Sony exclusives.
I'm assuming that
Microsoft
Sony would keep their
exclusives.
own. Yes.
Yeah. So you can't be playing your Last of Us and God of Wars and
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
Good lord.
Hey.
I hate Twisted Metal.
That game came and went, eh? That new one?
I played it. I liked it.
But like they had that big E3 showing.
How great did it look at E3?
And then it just disappeared after that.
Yeah.
The game came out and it was like, everyone's like,
Yeah.
This goes back to my point that I made about RoboCop. RoboCop could only work when it came out.
Yeah.
There's something about the culture that it made it work. You can't do it now. Things are different.
That's true.
Times have changed.
There's no room for car combat games anymore.
Yeah, there's no room for kart racers anymore. I'm sorry.
Kart racers.
Oh, there's so many kart racers.
No, they're not. There's no room for them.
I agree with Ryan here. I do like the Sonic one, but that's about
They're fun. They just don't sell as well as they used to. You know?
I love Sonic.
There's no room for car combat stuff.
Sonic's good stuff right there. It's like prime.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, you plan to get Borderlands 2 on your PS Vita?
I do not.
Because Sony is saying that it's so good. That's a quote from them.
Like KFC?
PlayStation Vice President of Publisher and Developer Relations, Adam Boyes. I think that's the guy who was in the... Actually, I'm pretty sure that was the guy. Do you remember that little video they released after Microsoft's conference? Of them sharing the game?
Oh, right.
Or after E3 or something? I forget when it was.
Yeah. Had a share game.
Yeah, he's that guy, I think. And so he said on Twitter, I was playing a ton of Borderlands 2 Vita this week. So good. So if you're planning to pick that up, if you don't have a Vita, now's the time to get a Vita. Because there's a lot of games on there. Get PlayStation Plus, you're all set. And get the Borderlands 2 bundle. It's $200. You get the PS Vita bundle, or you get the PS Vita system, copy of the game, featuring cross-save and all DLC packs, and an 8GB memory card. So that's not too bad.
Now, can I play with console players?
That's a good question.
Because that would be fabulous. If not...
I don't think so. I think it's a modified game, to be honest. Like heavily modified enough.
And there was also... I remember we reported on this. It was an issue of whether you can... where the save comes from. Does your PS3 save go to the Vita and work? Or does your Vita save go to the PS3 and work? Or does it do both ways?
Or does it not do it at all?
No, you do get cross saves.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but they don't know which direction.
Well, Marty will buy it and report on it next week, right, Marty?
I'm the only one in this room that doesn't have a Vita.
Do it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get a Vita.
I'm not getting a Vita.
Vita Slim.
I'm happy with my 3DS.
Slim Vita. You can get a pink one?
I wouldn't mind that. I'll get a PSP Go, actually.
No.
Nothing? No.
I prefer you didn't.
PSP was something else.
Hey, not the Go, but everything else was good.
Well, we never tried to go, but...
Good. That's a good job.
All right, Watch Dogs release date was announced. Are you guys pumped?
I am.
Matt's
myself.
pumped. He's ready.
I'm ready.
Do you have it pre-ordered?
My body is ready.
Do you have it pre-ordered?
I canceled that when they.
You're not ready? You're not pumped? What are you talking about? I'm going to pre-ordered.
Well,
Not ready at all.
Because I don't trust them, so I'll wait for them to wait for like a couple days before and be like, all right.
Oh, so they don't move the release date again?
So they're like, oh, I moved it another 8 months. All right.
I don't know. I haven't been pumped since they showed it off at E3.
Yeah, that's true. But what did you pre-order it for?
At that time, I think it was PS4. Yes.
Good. So yeah, May 27th is when you'll be able to get your hands on Watch Dogs finally. Hopefully. For the Xbox One, PS4, Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. Now, for all you Wii U players, no release date yet, but it's coming soon.
All three of you.
Aw. Someone must. There must be a small percentage who
Both
who
of
buys.
you got it.
You know what? If you're a Wii U user, please email us. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know there's somebody still alive out there. Some survivors.
Oh, leave the Wii U players alone.
I just don't expect any emails. That's why I said that.
I played some Wii U this week.
A couple hours ago.
Yeah.
That sticky controller.
Oh, that was nasty.
I played some Donkey Kong earlier this week,
Yeah.
and it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that in your... What are you playing?
Oh, I was preoccupied with Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
I only include games that I own.
Hmm?
I only include games that I own.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait, what?
I don't own Donkey Kong.
No, but you played it. We're asking what did you play?
Yeah, and I only include games that I own.
Okay.
Technically speaking, I also played Lego Movie the game, but I didn't include
Yeah.
that
Why not?
because I don't own it.
What?
I don't own it
Are you serious? You don't include games you don't own?
normally,
So if you-
unless
if
I
you-
borrowed it for a prolonged period.
All right. Screwing up my system here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Xbox Live might be coming or possibly coming to iOS and Android in a much bigger way. They already have like their smart glass apps and stuff.
Yep.
But this was a job posting on their website, I believe. It said, "We will create a modern framework that is open source, lightweight, extensible, and scalable across various platforms, including Windows Store, Windows Phone, iOS, and Android." However, the job posting has been removed. But what do you guys think? What would you like to see more integration in from Xbox Live? How would you? Any ideas?
Is it specifically Xbox Live? It almost sounds to me like a Microsoft hub, like you download
Possible.
the
It's
Microsoft
possible.
app. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because after that, what's that one executive? I can't remember her name now. Where
The one who just left?
well, no, there was one that people kind of said that she quote unquote demoted, but in actuality, she was a
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
now in charge of all the devices. Or
yeah,
something
she was in charge of 2 or 3 UI departments. Now she's kind of making everything look the same. Maybe I don't know. This isn't confirmed. Maybe she's pushing for let's make a Microsoft app. You download that, and then in there you're I want smart glass. I want this. You know what I mean?
I guess kind of so you could have your own Windows Phone, but on the iPhone, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be kind of crazy. I'm surprised no one's done that. Maybe they would. Maybe Apple would shut it down or something. I don't know.
Well, because I don't, maybe it wouldn't even be that. Maybe you download your Microsoft account and then it's just your email or something else in there. I don't know.
Because what if you released an app? Inside that app, you had an email app, and your own messaging app, and your own store in there and stuff. You know. What if you could launch it and you have a whole new OS running on your?
Oh.
Wouldn't that be weird?
That's something that would work on Android, I think.
I don't think Apple would let that through.
But I don't know about Apple. Yeah.
But let's say this is Xbox Live.
Okay.
What kind of integration would you think they could incorporate? Because right now the apps are you can watch movies and stuff like that.
To be honest, I think that they're at if it almost sounds like the only thing they can do is a companion app, and I think they've nailed that. Do you know what I mean? I think smart glass is good. I can look at it. I can maneuver my Xbox, go through my Netflix with it, and then I can use it as my companion app for games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know what else they could do.
I think their only problem is who downloads movies on their Xbox.
That's a problem.
To use Smart Glass with. Smart Glass is a cool idea. It's really cool, but there's not a huge percentage of people who download movies strictly on their Xbox.
Well, it kind of comes down to the fact where we have like everyone. I'm just gonna use the term. Everyone and their damn mother has like Google has their download movies here. Apple has theirs. BlackBerry has theirs. Microsoft has theirs. So then like a person comes in and they're like, "What do I buy my stuff on?"
Heck, even Amazon and like Walmart and stuff.
Like it's a disaster. Like
yeah, there's too many. So you really got to pick one and just stick with it, right?
that would be best, I would think.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of iPhones, if you remember a while back, Nintendo, when they announced their terrible sales projections, a lot of people were saying that they should bring their games over to like iPhone and Android devices. Apparently, Nintendo is saying that this is now more problematic.
Okay.
And from what I'm reading, it's not really a technical problem. It's just that they don't want to... Let me just read what they said. This comes from a veteran producer for the company. And again, I'm sorry with the names. Kensuke Tanabe, I'm going to say.
Sounds right to me.
I think that's actually right.
Really?
That sounds right to me.
All right. He's saying, with games like Mario and Donkey Kong, the control input is such an important part of that. I think if you're trying to replicate that feeling of control that you have traditional to those games, translating those to a smart device, that's a just really, really difficult task. And so it sounds more like he is saying that the control input is not what they want. You can put digital D-pads on there and buttons.
Have you ever played a game with digital sticks that worked?
It's bad, yes, but if you're putting like a DS game on there, it wouldn't be that bad. You'd have a digital D-pad, right?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the kids of today are good with that stuff.
Yeah. People play Minecraft with those digital sticks.
Yeah, like it's a disaster. People are like, oh yeah, whatever. And I'm like, I can't even turn. Like,
To be honest, if there was Donkey Kong and Mario coming to iOS, I'd rather buy like a $30 like NES Bluetooth controller.
that's what I was gonna say. Make some classic controllers, but Nintendo brand them. Good to go.
I find it weird that companies don't do a lot of this kind of stuff. What seems like a smart thing to do, they just kind of like, nope.
It may be legal things we don't know of.
I guess it would cost a lot of money, all that investment and stuff.
That
right?
too, and then there's also the cost.
Sounds a bit risky too.
So let me just read what the rest of what he says. Of course, I'm not ignoring the fact that the marketplace is flooded with these devices and that there are a lot of games created specifically for them. Personally, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have a curiosity of or feeling of needing to create or wanting to create games for those devices. I want Nintendo games to be played on Nintendo hardware.
So maybe not necessarily they should be porting games. Maybe they should start developing games instead.
That would be crazy.
Design games specifically for the iPhone screen instead of porting over Mario.
But like Pokemon, that can be played on an iPhone.
Yeah.
People have emulators who play it on their smartphones.
Yeah.
The Layton games, those can be played on an iPhone.
Yeah.
There's like we're not talking like release your entire catalog.
No.
Just pick the games that would work.
Well, to be fair, like I rip on Nintendo a lot, but to be fair, they really have only had one bad blunder with their hardware. If they stop trying to be super innovative and just make a standard console that plays classic games, they'll make a tons of money.
I think the problem was the N64. Wasn't it like too expensive or something? Or they were still using cartridges when everyone was switching to discs. Something hurt them.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was released. Because I know PS1 was coming out. Like I think it was like released like a year before that.
Yeah.
So it was like that era. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure the N64 did very well.
It was successful, and a lot of people like love it and stuff.
That's what I mean.
But
like,
I just don't think it was like kind of like the beginning of like their slow downfall. Because then the GameCube came out.
So the GameCube flopped
too, and it had tiny discs, so you couldn't get the same amount of detail as you could on the DVDs.
That innovation is
the controller was
dumb.
weird, and there weren't too many games made for it, like third-party games.
Yeah.
And then the Wii comes out, huge success,
massive success. It was a disaster. It was ridiculous.
So then I think that kind of installed Nintendo's idea that if they can hit a gold mine again, which they tried to do with the Wii U,
Yeah.
that they'll get that same kind of success, but they kind of just missed the target.
To be honest, I think the Wii did well because I think the world was kind of at that health phase, and they're like, get up and play games. And instantly people are like, all right, my kids are going to get up off the couch and play their games. You know what I mean?
It was a good time period, I remember.
That's what I
Everyone
mean.
was excited for the Wii. I was super excited. I wanted one.
Yeah, like I have one, unfortunately. But I don't know. Like I think they're like I think it's very clear that right now they're trying to cash in on the tablet game, or they were with the Wii U, and now they're trying to like, oh well, since we couldn't get our tablet to be good, let's kind of go into the other market. I think they just need to make a classic console.
Well, I think the Wii U was a combination of certain things. The DS, highly successful. 3DS, also very successful for them. And so the Wii U was kind of like a combination of that, right? Because you have the two screens.
Yeah.
And then you have the touch screen, so it was also like a mobile or tablet game.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they were trying to hit that. It just for some reason didn't connect with the audience.
I think what they should have did, to be honest, was that they wanted this ecosystem. I almost feel like they're trying to make where like what you're saying, where like the Wii, or Wii U rather, is very similar to the 3DS and whatever. They should have first said, okay, let's knock down the barriers here. Let's make a Nintendo account. Let's have no convolution. Let's make the eShop the same, but some things are compatible with 3DS and some aren't. And some are only Wii U. Makes sense, right? Bigger games or whatever. Let's knock down these walls. Let's get our infrastructure fixed up. Then let's look at our console. Because the tablet is nice, but the tablet, you could just use a Pro Controller. But they're pushing that, like, they're still pushing that tablet.
And I kind of think like it's the same thing with like the Kinect. They haven't told us why we need to have that screen on the.
No, there's no like golden game that makes me want to go run out and buy it yet.
Yeah.
They're not making the greatest use of the gamepad yet.
Yeah. So what was your favorite game there, Matt?
Zombie U.
Zombie U. It was basically like a map and an inventory system, right?
But the scanner was
Scanner was cool.
And it was massively used.
I can't believe that games don't do more stuff like that.
But the problem is that developing specifically for that, it's hard. You don't like your Call of Duty. That's a whole new development thing just for Wii U. Mm-hmm. For a very crappy install base.
And I don't think the third parties are really trusting of Nintendo right now to actually like sell their games, right?
That and
so they would spend money developing for the tablet, doing some new feature, and it wouldn't pay off in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. Well, plus Nintendo even said we're not concerned with third party.
Yeah, so I kind of think they dug themselves a hole.
It's sad because I think there's so much potential with that gamepad too.
Yeah.
The hardware's bad though. I think they really should have just said, okay, like let's not try to beat Microsoft. Let's not try to beat. Like they shouldn't set a goal of beating them. They should.
I don't think they are setting that goal though.
But the type of games Nintendo makes don't require a lot of hardware. So, but I think it all comes down to that gamepad controller. Yeah. They need to find something that makes me want it.
Makes me say, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Nintendo also has a lot of convolution though, because when they first came out, they're like, "We have third-party support. We have Assassin's Creed 3. We have this," and like maybe they're not trying to.
They gave up on them, yeah.
Yeah, but like the problem is that maybe they're not trying to beat the competition, but it almost seems like they were because one, they came out first. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, "Oh, well, we need third-party titles," so then they came out with a Pro Controller. But they push the other controller that's not really AAA title, I guess, friendly, if you will. And then they have bad hardware that they could have waited for. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like there's a lot of convolution with them.
Yeah. So I want to move on now, but really, really quick, what do you think their next console will be? Do you think it will be standard console, or do you think they'll try something else? They're going to keep shooting at something, trying to find that gold mine again?
I'm thinking they're going to go for a straight-up console, but they're going to still support the gamepad.
Like it's going to work with the new console, maybe?
Some sort of backwards compatibility with the gamepad. I think they put a lot into it, and they're not willing to ditch it, necessarily. Also, a lot of integration with the 3DS. Mm-hmm. Because there's also a few games out with the Wii U that you can play alongside the 3DS, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Matt, what do you think?
I almost feel like, this sounds weird, but I almost feel like they're going to make a console that has like a removable 3DS attachment in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, so kind of like a classic. So the console's like kind of like a Vita, like where it's nice and powerful. Make a really powerful handheld. That's like, because they do well in the handheld market, but have a dock for the television and a controller that connects to the dock.
So kind of like the PS Vita TV.
Vita TV, I think they'll do extremely well with that. You pull your games off. You're playing it on your handheld. Then you're home. You pop it back in. It's charging. You have your controller, you're playing your games, you're watching your Netflix, you pull it off, you do the same thing on your console, and you're good to go. I think that would be
that's an
extremely
interesting idea. I doubt they'll do that. That seems pretty. It seems like it's too soon to be doing stuff like that. You know.
I suppose.
But it's a very interesting idea. I think that would be pretty cool for a company to do that.
And it would almost be cheap.
You know what? Because I would love to like take my iPhone and like plug it into my TV
And you're good to go.
and just start playing games.
That'd be amazing, right?
Like console quality games on my iPhone. Just this tiny little thing, and you're just having fun. You know.
I'm afraid of the single. I'm afraid of like using one device because then I don't want companies to be like, okay, well let's get rid of our laptops and let's get rid of our stuff. I'm afraid of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. All right. So our last story, which is sad, brought a tear to my eye. Jack Tretton, as you may know, he is the. Let me get his official title here. What is it? What is it? I think it's the president of Sony Computers Entertainment America.
Yeah,
is what he is. So you've probably seen him on E3 and various other things. He's the guy who like announces all the stuff at E3, and he's been working there for 19 years at Sony. That's a long time. Yeah,
It's a long freaking time.
so he's kind of like overseeing the PS3, PS2, right?
Yep.
And even earlier than that, right?
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think he was actually there for the PlayStation 1, probably.
So I don't know how responsible he is for like the success of the PS3 or anything like that, but I'm gonna miss him. Let me read you a pretty long quote that he gave after announcing his stepping down. He said, "Working at SCEA for the past 19 years has been the most rewarding experience of my career. Although I will deeply miss the talented team at SCEA and the passion demonstrated every day by our fans, I'm very excited about starting the next chapter of my career. Sorry. I want to thank the employees, partners, and customers for their tireless commitment to the PlayStation brand, and of course, to our fans who have pushed us to new heights of innovation and entertainment over the past 2 decades. I leave PlayStation in a position of considerable strength, and the future will only get brighter for PlayStation Nation." And Sony Network Entertainment International Vice President and COO Sean Layden will become the new CEO of SCEA on April 1st, 2014. Whew. So.
Okay. Now, does it say what he's going on to next?
No, just to step in a new career, I guess.
So he's going to mobile gaming.
Oh,
Jesus.
like Clippy B and
like everybody.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure executives kind of do these because then they don't work for like a year or two, and then they jump back onto something to take a break. Because to be fair, they make enough money and they're on call all the time. Like they're on planes in this country over here. And
Yeah.
it's a disaster, right?
Yeah. So I'm sad that he's leaving. Hopefully Sony continues on their or at least their gaming section continues rising. I hope they keep supporting like the. I find that Sony takes a lot of risks with the games they choose. You know,
Yeah, they do.
like The Last of Us is kind of a risky thing to support.
Normally, not hardware wise, but normally pays off.
Yeah, I guess.
Their risky hardware's bad, but
Mm-hmm. Why? Well, you had some hesitation there, right? Or
Well, it's Naughty Dog. People are going to support Naughty Dog. People love the Uncharted series, and it's zombies.
that's fair.
Well, I've always wondered how much influence Sony has in what their developers do. Do they say like, we want this type of game, go make this for us, or do they just say, hey, free reign, do what you want, and then pitch it to us, we'll fully support you?
Sounds like free reign over there.
It does, right?
Yeah.
Like Beyond Two Souls, that's a kind of a risky game too to back.
Yeah.
I don't know how it paid off for them because a lot of people, it's kind of hit or miss with that one.
Yeah, I don't think that was well received as well as they wanted it to be.
Heavy Rain though, I remember we did a story that they had got turned down or something from Microsoft, which was a big loss for them because that was a pretty cool game. All right, anything else you guys want to discuss?
Do we have a philosophical corner this week?
I do, but I just
There's one thing I wanted to mention about Nintendo when we were talking about them.
sure.
There's one thing that Nintendo's probably never going to steer away from, and it's their multiplayer aspect.
Like on the couch multiplayer?
Couch co-op, yes.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause the most fun I've had of gaming in the last few years is Nintendo Land, to be honest.
Nintendo Land.
I love Nintendo Land. Especially if you're playing with a bunch of people.
Well, Matt has 2 copies for you.
Yeah, I do. One's sealed.
Why aren't we playing it right now?
It's not good.
Oh, come on, man. That's all I want to say.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. Like Rayman was even fun. I know it's on multiple consoles, but it was fun on Nintendo.
Yeah.
They even really support on the 3DS, where if you have Mario Kart and I don't, I can still play with you.
It's brilliant what they do with the 3DS there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really cool. I really like that. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our philosophical corner. This is continuity in games. Does it take you out of the game or games? And are the inconsistencies within a franchise separate games something that takes you out of the intended storytelling experience? I don't know.
This was provided to us by Adriano, right?
This is quote for quote Adriano right here.
Oh, wait. Let me try this again. Are the inconsistencies within a franchise
within a franchise separate games? What does that mean?
Adriano, what are you doing?
Separate games? Something that takes you out of the intended storytelling experience? Within a franchise...
there's a dash there.
I'm sorry for just really being dumb here, but maybe Adriano can
explain this. I think what he's saying is this. Franchise separate games. So something like in Mass Effect, if they have a spin-off, there's an inconsistency in that spin-off.
Yeah, you got to read it like you were Adriano.
I don't know how to do that. But anyway, continuity in games. How do you guys feel about that?
I haven't really played a game where I noticed a big continuity error. So, for the most part...
Yeah, I'm not really a details guy. I'm not...
Really?
Yeah,
I like details.
I missed a lot of things, but, I'm not like, hey, that wasn't this, boo, I don't know if that made sense to you guys, but...
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah. I don't know, I can't think of a great example. I'm assuming he wrote that with an example in mind.
To talk about? Well, he knew he wasn't going to be here, but...
Yeah.
Well, in RPGs, I find myself kind of doing that, like... I think the Elder Scrolls series is a good example. I've only played like 3, 4, 5, but I found that they have a lot of continuity, and they mention Oblivion and stuff like when you're in Skyrim and whatnot, and it's accurate enough at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's pretty important because like you're reading books in the game, right? And then you're like, you don't want to read a book that says like some king was like a tyrant, and then some other book that's like, no, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they probably have some sort of database or book of like all their history and stuff.
Yeah, there's a term for that document. I can't remember it now, but
in television we learned that it was called like the show Bible.
Oh, okay.
Where you just put all the information that you need in like one big thing.
Maybe I'm thinking about
that. Now is it like inconsistencies? Like, would you consider or continuity errors? I guess would like. Maybe like a change in armor or something like that? Something that simple? Or is he? Do you think he's talking more maybe story-wise?
I think he's referring to something more along the story.
Okay.
Well, I think it can be kind of devastating to a series too if you think about it. If say you have a okay, let's just say Mass Effect. This doesn't exist, but so Mass Effect, like they're at a certain technological level, and then if they had a spin-off that was a prologue and they have better tech because they wanted to include more features for the player.
Yeah,
that's kind of bad. Unless there was like a tech downfall in the story, that's fine.
Yeah,
like the lore and there was something blown up or something,
Yeah,
but like having more tech in the past is always kind of bad.
Mm-hmm. You're talking like if they make a game, then they make it like a prequel, but they want you to have more features because they can do more.
Yeah, so your ship's
they make it bigger and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and you're like, why don't we have this in the future? Like it's dumb, right?
I actually think this is the best question for Adriano. I think he could best answer this
because he loves his lore, and
so maybe we'll ask him when he finally returns.
I just realized there was something about Arkham Origins that actually really bugged me. That was inconsistent. Was the design of the city?
Yes,
that's right. It was there was a lot of different layouts all the streets were laid out differently in Origins compared to City, and I spent a lot of time in Arkham City, so. I knew every place. It bugged the piss out of me is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's kind of weird. There doesn't seem to be any reason for it either, other than they just wanted to try something new.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to expand the map to be larger than Arkham City, and as a result, it just was different.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I always point out is in Mass Effect, the first one, you have unlimited ammo, but your gun overheats.
Okay.
And they explain it in one of like the codexes, where it says like it's just like you shove in like a piece of metal into like the magazine,
Yeah.
and then it like just shaves off a piece of metal, and shoots it out,
Okay.
something like that, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And so you basically have unlimited ammo because it can like just shut off like tiny pieces, I guess. But in the second one, you have ammo in Mass Effect 2, and I think they explain why they switched to an ammo-based thing in the codexes.
Okay.
But I just thought that was weird.
That was clearly almost like a lore cover up.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we probably want ammo instead of unlimited. It was just a decision they made, but they had to cover it up with the lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's good.
No, yeah, I think that's
Remember
good.
to enter into the contest, the giveaway /
Yeah, that's right. So remember, that's on the 50th episode. Just check out our channel. Check out episode 50. Leave a comment about anything you want. And we'll randomly choose a winner.
Yep.
Depending on how many comments there are.
Yep.
We'll just randomly choose them.
And we'll check them on Friday.
Check them on Friday.
Yep.
If there's nothing there, we'll wait till next
We'll
Friday.
just keep rolling it over, but you have to comment on episode 50.
We need you to comment on episode 50. Also, thanks again to William Key and the Stardust Drive podcast. Remember, go check out their channel on the YouTube and subscribe to them as well. Subscribe to us, Day One Patch, so you don't miss any more videos. Me and Marty have a Let's Play of Metal Gear Solid, the original.
The first one, yeah.
Which is going pretty well. Check that out, really fun. I think that's it.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter and share with all your friends. Get this Day One Patch rolling. Get people hearing it.
Good stuff.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.